Hey guys, Pretzler here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be talking about some more Godzilla movie news. Today is going to be a bit different. This video is going to be focused on some new trailers that we have. I'm planning on making another Godzilla movie news sometime after this one, which is going to be kind of like a normal Godzilla movie news. But this one is just going to be focused on trailers that we have, because the first thing that we have is we have the Japanese version of the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, which for the most part is pretty much the same thing. Some things are like kind of cut into different places. But we do have new footage in this trailer, which is pretty surprising. Like, I seen this on YouTube and I watched it, and I expected it to be like the exact same, but like, I thought it was going to be Japanese dubbed instead of, like, characters speaking in English. But this, it just had Japanese subtitles. And I was watching it, and then the new footage came on screen, and I was like, what? So, obviously, I have to talk about it. So, the first thing that we have, which might not be new, but I think it might be, because it's like 1 second of like an extended from a scene that we seen in the US version of the trailer of Godzilla blowing up what we think is an Apex facility. And it might not be like new, but I think it is, like, not even a second. It's just like the soldiers that are there, which I imagine that their soldiers are like being pushed back by the explosion. It looks like it's, a bit extended, but, I can't say for sure, so I'm just guessing. But moving on to actual, most likely, obvious new footage, is we have missiles shooting at Godzilla while he is swimming. This is, I would imagine, from the one scene that we've seen in the trailer of missiles shooting up. And then this is going to probably go to this of the missiles going towards Godzilla. At first I thought it was the missiles that they shot and then they were like in the water, which didn't look like it did anything, which this could be connected. They could have gone into the water and then they exploded. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But we see the missiles being shot at Godzilla and exploding, and then Godzilla just kind of like dives underwater to dodge the attack. Although the missiles didn't really were really aimed at Godzilla directly, because they were like in front of him and then they exploded, which I imagine still would have kind of hit Godzilla, but he just went underwater and dodged it. And then we have a shot of Godzilla underwater, which is kind of same connected with the other shot that we were just talking about of Godzilla dodging the missiles, which looks really cool. And then we have a new shot of Ren Serizawa talking with another character. This scene was kind of in the trailer, but it's more extended, because we did hear the character talking, but we didn't know who he was talking to, but we know now he is talking to Ren. And the character says, I don't know the character's name, but the character says, "Mr. Ren Serizawa, these are dangerous times." Which in the trailer that we had released before, the US trailer, the character just says, "These are dangerous times." But this time it's extended, so he says, "Mr. Ren Serizawa, these are dangerous times." So I wonder what's going to be the context of this conversation. And then we have a new shot of Madison Russell, looking a bit distressed here. She kind of like runs and screams something. We don't know what she's saying because we don't hear her. This might be when she reunites with her dad, which, is Mark Russell, because in the movie they kind of like split apart, because Madison goes with, I don't know the character's name, but I believe the actor's name is Julian Dennis, or something like that. But they go and they find someone that, they're trying to figure out what's wrong with Godzilla. So they are separated, and then this is probably when you know, when they reunite and her dad's freaking out like, why'd you leave, blah blah blah, I'm glad you're safe, you know, all that kind of stuff. Or this might be something else, like maybe Madison's yelling, you know, like something's happening to Godzilla, or something's happening, you know, that's important to the movie. But if you read her lips, she does look like she's saying dad in this scene. So, you know, I don't know. She might not be saying dad, but every time I see it, it looks like she's saying dad. So, we'll just have to see when the movie comes out, so we know full context. But the big money shot of this version of the trailer is we have a new shot of Godzilla slapping Kong in the face. So this, you know, confirms that Godzilla will actually hit Kong in the movie. And it's actually nice to see that finally we have a shot of Godzilla hitting Kong, which is a bit satisfying, not gonna lie, as, you know, someone who is more on the Godzilla side of things, even though, you know, there are some things that focus through other situations that I'm not going to get into because talking about it will upset people. But anyways, it is nice to see that Godzilla is actually hitting Kong here, and it does seem that Godzilla really doesn't use too much of his force to really hit Kong, which, you know, it does send Kong flying back. So this kind of does show that Godzilla is, you know, physically stronger than Kong, maybe. You know, I could be wrong here. But when Kong punches Godzilla, we can see that Kong like kind of uses full force on Godzilla here. But Godzilla doesn't really do anything. He just kind of like slaps him and sends him flying, which does look really cool. The tables have turned. And also, we see here that Godzilla is charging his atomic breath. So I am curious to know on how this scene will play out. Will Godzilla hit Kong with his atomic breath for the first time? And Kong's like, whoa, not going to get hit by that anymore, because that does not feel good. Or something else might play out. Maybe Kong gets up and then we see the shot of Kong pushing Godzilla off the aircraft carrier. So it's going to be very interesting to watch, and I'm very excited. But we also have another shot of Godzilla destroying some buildings with his atomic breath, looking very menacing here. I really like this shot. This may be the same Apex facility that Godzilla is destroying here that we've seen in the beginning of the trailer that I was talking about, that is like possibly extended of, you know, the Godzilla destroying the Apex facility, or like the factory or whatever it is. It might not be an Apex facility, but from what we know it might be, which is also a scene that we've seen in the US trailer. But this is kind of like extended, focused on Godzilla here. So this might be like the start of it when Godzilla like comes up and then he's like, "I'm mad at you guys, I'm gonna destroy your facility." Or however that plays out. But it does look really cool. So I like it. But that is all we have for the new, the new footage for the Japanese version of Godzilla vs. Kong. I don't think that we're going to be seeing anything for the Super Bowl that is showing sometime later today. We might have possibly like a TV spot, I think is the most that we'll get, and we might see this footage in that TV spot. The new footage that we see here is what we might see, but we'll just have to see until then. But I don't think that we're going to get a new full trailer. If anything, that if we do get a trailer, that they're just going to play the trailer that we already seen. But I think the best thing that we're going to be seeing there is most likely a TV spot, is what I'm guessing. But we do have the Venom 2 trailer, which was supposedly going to be coming out there, so I will be reacting to that because I'm excited for that as well. But getting back into Godzilla movie news, we are also going to be talking about the new Godzilla Singular Point trailer the second trailer for Singular Point. This came out a while ago, so it's not necessarily new, but I don't know, maybe someone hasn't seen it yet. Well, this trailer is less focused on the monsters and is more focused on the human characters, which is fine. But we do have shots of monsters, and we also have new shots of Jet Jaguar, which looks pretty cool. I am starting to grow on this new design for Jet Jaguar. Not my favorite design, obviously, since we only have, like, what, 2 designs of Jet Jaguar. This and the one from 1970-something. I don't know the exact date of, or year when Godzilla vs. Megalon came out. But it does seem here that Jet Jaguar is on a bit of a short side. Because, like, on the top part of him, he's a bit big, and then on the low part of him, or bottom part of him, he is pretty short. So this could mean that, Jet Jaguar isn't finished, like he's unfinished, and maybe they just put legs on him so, they have some sort of defense against the monsters that, just came out of nowhere. So that might be what's going on there. And then, like, around maybe the end of the show, he'll have his, like, full design or something, or full completion, or maybe if there's like a season 2 or something like that, we'll have a finished version of Jet Jaguar. Then we have a shot of one of the characters in like some sort of control room, which possibly means that Jet Jaguar is going to be like remote controlled, and like the chest area is where the character is sitting in. Which the character is like the old dude, which I don't know, is looks a bit weird. Just like, move out of the way, young people. It's time for the old dude to get in charge, and however that works. But I don't think it's a possibility that this is the case, but it also might not be. Honestly, if I'm being, for my opinion, I don't think that should be the case. I don't really like it that way. I think it'd be cooler to see Jet Jaguar doing his own thing, like, moving on his own. Of course, being a robot and, like, kind of connected to them. So, like, they can, like, turn him on, turn him off, and all that kind of stuff. But I don't like the fact that, Jet Jaguar being controlled, kind of like Mechagodzilla. So, I think it'd be cooler if Jet Jaguar is like on his own, fighting things, all that kind of stuff. And then we have shots of like most of the characters, the human characters, like their like names popping up to like introduce the characters and all that kind of stuff. Some, it's a bit confusing for some parts because, there's obviously some characters that you can tell are like the protagonist, and then there's also, the character or characters that are obviously antagonists. But there's also some characters that we see that, I can't really tell if they're protagonists or antagonists, because they look like they're antagonists, but in the trailer, it looks, what they say and all that kind of stuff makes it seem like they're protagonists, so it's a bit confusing. So we'll just have to see what goes on there. And then we have shots of, or just one shot, of one of the little baby Rodans roaring. In this shot, we have the classic Rodan roar being played here. So this does confirm that these are Rodans. And I say that, that confirms it because when the first trailer dropped, people were speculating that these weren't actually Rodans and that these were just like some other species of like pterodactyl and all that kind of stuff. So this does confirm that these are Rodan, which is pretty cool. And then we also have a shot of like the red mist coming out of a giant hole. We've seen this kind of whole bunker thing in the first trailer, but that time it was closed. This time it's open, which I assumed was where Jet Jaguar would be deployed from, which is obviously not the case. So this could be like where the kaiju come from, which I heard was a theory. This like might be where the kaiju kind of like come out of, like from the underworld or something like that. So maybe they break out, or maybe the bad guys let them out or something like that. So we'll just have to see. And also we have another few shots of some characters, like characters running. One of the characters looked like to be wrapped up. Hey, my iPad crashed. That's great. But going back to what we were talking about, it seems that one of the characters is wrapped up in something. It might be hinting like maybe something Mothra related, like Mothra silk or webbing or whatever you call it. Most likely not, but I don't know, just throwing out some theories. And then we also have another shot of some characters on a boat. And then we have another shot of Jet Jaguar. We have two shots here, actually. One shot is one of the main characters, I believe his name is Yun, saying, "Go Jet Jaguar." And then we have another shot, the final shot of the trailer, of Jet Jaguar preparing to fight. And it looks like the kaiju that Jet Jaguar is going to fight here, telling from like the color and skin tone and the spikes, it does seem that Jet Jaguar is going to be fighting Anguirus here, which is interesting. At first I was thinking that it might be Gabra, but the color scheme hints highly towards Anguirus, so this is most likely Anguirus. So I'm excited for that. We don't see any Godzilla in this trailer, which is interesting. You know, you would have think that they would have at least put the scene that we seen in the first trailer of like ominous Godzilla in the red smoke or something, because this is obviously Godzilla focused, because it's Godzilla singular point. So you think that they might actually show Godzilla here, but I guess not. Hopefully they're not going to be like kind of hide Godzilla and then have him like be the big reveal at the end of the series, because that would kind of be a bit disappointing. You know, just all the monsters, Jet Jaguar fighting the monsters and all that kind of stuff, and then Godzilla being the big bad coming out of nowhere and be like, "I'm Godzilla," or like that being like the end of season 1 of them just showing Godzilla. That'd kind of suck, but I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. I mean, obviously Godzilla is going to be the antagonist kaiju here, like the main antagonist kaiju. But I would like to see Godzilla actually fighting the monsters. But we'll just have to see what happens. But that is unfortunately it for this video. I was going to be talking about the new Pacific Rim The Black trailer, but I decided not to because I just have a lot of other stuff on my plate. So there's a lot to talk about in that trailer. And, you know, it doesn't really, I don't think it would be an interesting breakdown, if I'm being honest, because we don't really have too much to go off that is kind of kaiju related, which is, you know, the most interesting things about the trailers is what we want to see is the monster stuff. But we mostly see, like, the human stuff and a bit of Jaegers, but I don't know. It looks okay, I guess. I will link the trailer in the description down below if you want to check it out yourself. But for the most part, I'm just going to kind of like stick to smaller stuff for Pacific Rim, because we do have like a ton of posters to talk about that I will be talking about in the next Godzilla movie news. But that is unfortunately it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.